Hello, everybody. So we are back at it again for another amazing conversation. For those of you who are new to watching this show, we call it the Your Brand, Your Breakthrough Show. Miyoko and I co-host this show with Miyoko Taylor. My name is Letitia Campbell. We're so excited to have you guys on another week. All right, and we're so excited to be here. We call these more than just live streams. We call these conversations, and the reason being is because we want you guys to definitely be interactive. We want you guys to definitely engage, ask your questions, state your point of view respectfully, and also share this out if you feel this information is of value. Now, whenever we are doing, Miyoko and I, whenever we're talking about what the topic is going to be for each show, because we really sit and meet on a consistent basis over the topic of each and every single show, because we want to give the ultimate value. We always think about what is going to be your main takeaway, right? We always think about that. A lot of times you guys come on different shows on that talks about self-development, that talks about business, and you don't really walk away with any value, right? It's a lot of that on the internet streets right now. So whenever we come on, historically, we always want to make sure you guys walk away with value. So before I get started, I want to just check my sound real quick. My Wi-Fi. Okay, great. My Wi-Fi is kind of acting up today, so I hope and pray that I'm still, my connection stays as good as it is now. But again, it's acting up a little bit. All right. So Miyoko is going to be on in just a second. Before we get started, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping real quick. We still have our tour available for you guys to go ahead and purchase your tickets. Okay. We're going to be kicking off our 4-week tour, our four city. I said 4 weeks. Lord Jesus, 4 city tour is going to be kicking off here in New York on August 16th. Okay, so we have some in-person tickets still available. We do still have live stream tickets still available. So if you have not done so already, please make sure you go and head on over to bit.ly/YBYB tour. That's bit.ly/YBYB tour. During this tour, we're going to be diving into personal branding, leadership, thought leadership, and sales strategy. So you definitely want to be a part of this amazing tour. I call it a movement. Again, we're going to be here in New York on August 16th. If you cannot come in person, go ahead and grab your virtual ticket because the impact is still going to be the same. The impact is still going to be the same. So today's topic, guys, is called the seasons of leadership, right? I want y'all to type in 1 in the chat if you've never heard of this topic before. It's just for my personal research. The seasons of leadership. Okay. So I always say, you guys know, I always brag about, Miyoko's how Miyoko's mind works, right? Because one of the things that we're going to be talking about during our Your Brand, Your Breakthrough tour is leadership. Because a lot of times we don't see ourselves as leaders, right? Or you may only tie leadership to ministry, right? Or if you're in let's say if you're an active community member, like I'm active with, my community board here in Queens, you may feel that is a form of leadership. Like type in 1 in the chat if you ever thought of leadership as it being either ministry based or community based, and that's, if you typed in 1, you're not wrong, because yes, in ministry, there's tons of leaders, in communities, there's tons of community leaders, community advocates. But most times in business, you may not see yourself as a leader. You may say, well, yeah, I'm a coach, or yeah, I'm in network marketing, or yeah, I'm offering a service, but you don't really see yourself as the L word, leader, right? And more often than not, the reason when you're not seeing yourself or positioning yourself on and off social media as a leader, you're going to have less confidence or no confidence at all, right? Your message is not going to really be convincing, right? And a lot of times you scale back. Because I've done that many times in the past, especially if in your personal life, you really don't have the motivation from people in your personal life, or you really don't have the support or all the things, right? For some of us in our personal life, everything in the world is working against us, but you guys know that that's God just telling you to move forward, right? But I say that to say, you got to see yourself as a leader, right? You got to see yourself as a leader. Like I'm the number one email marketing coach, right? But for years, even as the number one email marketing coach, I didn't see myself as a leader. I did not see myself as a leader. Even you could go on my YouTube. There's hundreds of testimonials there, video testimonials, text testimonials. Every time I do an event, my clients come to me and tell me, hey, how much I motivate them, how much I inspire them. And let me tell you guys something. There are a lot of people in this world who have this willful ignorance. Okay, willful ignorance, right? To the point where they think in their mind, in order for you to make an impact on anybody's life in business, in order for you to motivate other people, you got to be making 6 or 7 figures. Right? Someone said to me before, oh, you're not even making a comma or figure or something like that. I actually recorded that, so I could constantly keep laughing at it every time. But the point is that it's not about what is in your bank account currently. It's about the passion you have in your heart. And I know I've spoke to dozens of women in the past month. And I've had phone calls with, I could say one of my clients, Tanya, I had an amazing conversation with her the other day. No matter what you're going through in life, your life is your testimony. Your life is going to help and to inspire, to motivate people, to help elevate people. If you don't, it's not about the money you have in your account. It's not about you could live in a basement and still inspire people. You understand? Because if you can't inspire people living in the basement, how you think God is going to let you inspire people living in a mansion? Right? Hey, Therese, I want y'all to catch on to this. How you think God is going to give you people to inspire, to motivate, right? And you can't even inspire and motivate them at the level you're at right now currently. Right? That's the piece I want y'all all to understand, is get out of what is currently right now happening in your circumstances, what's currently happening in your life, and get motivated to think like a leader, act like a leader, and walk like a leader. Think, act, walk. I want y'all to write that down in the chat. Think like a leader, act like a leader, and also work like a leader. All right. So that by far is very much so important, guys. And Therese, if you're still in the comments, love, you can go ahead and log on here on StreamYard so you can help me out with the comments. All right. So like I said, and thank you. So Teresa's sharing out the link. Y'all, this is a very, very important conversation. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you share this out. Hey, y'all listen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. But yes, y'all, it's LaShawn the Dawn. It is her birthday today. So even if you don't know who she is, and you will know who she is, definitely go ahead and put in the chat happy birthday for LaShawn, because it is her birthday, honey. She's 26 years old. It is her birthday, love. I will call you later. Happy birthday. And I can't say this enough. LaShawn, you have definitely been a motivational person in my life. Definitely been something that a person I could talk to, that I could share things with, and all the things. So I love you to death, and I wish you many more birthdays. Okay, happy birthday, LaShawn. Yes, thank you, Therese. Therese is as our show producer. She just logged over here on StreamYard. I love you, sis. Happy birthday, LaShawn. Yes. All right, y'all. So again, now is the time. If you're on live right now, now is a great time for you guys to go ahead and share this conversation out, because it's going to be a good conversation, guys. Because type into in the chat if you've never heard of leadership being tied to seasons. Y'all, we're going to go deep today. We are going to go really, 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 really deep today. And those of you who just logged on, my name is Letitia Campbell. And yes, I'm your #1 email marketing strategist. I'm also the CEO and founder of the Campbell Success Network and the Your Brand, Your Breakthrough. Yes, and I'm here to help you guys evolve in email marketing and leadership, because I want y'all to all, under the sound of my voice, to really see yourselves as leaders, to see yourself as a leader, guys. So we're going to dive into the seasons of leadership, because these are seasons, y'all. These are seasons. Okay. All right, y'all. So let me go ahead. That's why I have this not Google Doc, but this Word doc one. Can everybody, those of you who are watching live, LaShawn, type in 3 in the chat if the font on my screen, let me actually make it a tiny bit bigger. Can y'all see? Is the font on my screen, is the size okay? Type in 3 in the chat. Do y'all think I should do a little bit bigger? Type in 3 in the chat. And again, if you just locked on, we're going to have a really, really good conversation about the seasons of leadership. Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you so much, LaShawn. So first thing. Leadership is not about winning. You'll know that, right? It's not about winning. It is not always about winning. You know, a lot of times people, you know, they have this sense of how many of you feel like you're a perfectionist, right? And if you're not doing something in an elevated or excellent way, or the top tier way, like how many of y'all really want to, and I had this conversation with Yoko before we came on here. How many of you really wanted to write your own book, but you're like, you know what? I haven't really accomplished a lot of things in life. You know, who would want to buy my book, right? Because you're so focused on what you know, winning. And you know, leadership isn't always about winning. It's about sharing your story. It's about inspiring people to think differently. It's about motivating people. It's about getting people from, you know, not just A to Z, but A to B. It's not always about winning. And for many of you guys, you have not gotten started on a lot of things this year because you feel you really haven't won at a lot of stuff, whether it be your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, or what have you. If you probably allowed life to get in the way, or all the things. But you know, leadership is not about winning, right? It's about knowing what season you're in right now. So I want to ask you a question. What season of leadership are you at currently right now in your life and or in your business? Right? That's important. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the first season. Okay, I hope y'all can see my screen good. Let's dive into the first season here. Thank you, LaShawn. She said me. Okay, so season number 1, fall. The fall season. This is where things start to fall off. Y'all know how the fall is actually kind of like, you know, physically the fall season, because that's when it's not super hot, but it's not super duper cold, right? So this is the season where things start to fall off, you know, internally and externally, right? This is where a lot of y'all get into that burnout phase, that exhaustion phase, right? You start to quit or you start to disconnect from yourself. We're talking about business here, right? You're still showing up, but you're really, really not there, right? This is also for some of you guys when your masks start to get a little bit heavier, right? You're holding on, but deep down, something is dying in you. Okay, something is dying in you. So this is where performance starts to decay, right? The identity builds on, proving begins to crack, right? And you're trying to figure out what is real, right? Like you're trying to figure out like who you are, and or is what you're saying online and offline really congruent? And you're probably telling yourself, this isn't working anymore. How many of y'all have done that in the fall season of your business? Not at the physical fall season that we all have during the year. I'm talking about that fall season in your year where you just feel like falling off. Somebody texted me the other day, a text, they said, well, they don't want to do something anymore. And y'all got to realize a lot of people in your business are going to fall off. And I'm at a point in my life where I have to welcome that. You know what I'm saying? I have to welcome the fact that people are just they're not going to follow through with what they say they're going to follow through on, and they're going to fall off. And you're going to have those people that are going to fall off and come back on and fall off and come back on, and you got to convince them to come back on, and you get tired of convincing them. Listen, all of us has been feeling, all of us has been at times in our lives where we don't feel like working it anymore, or feel that this isn't working anymore. And there's two types of people there's two types of people that I find that how they handle that emotion, right? So all of us, one time or another, have told ourselves this isn't working anymore, right? Type in 2 in the chat. Let's be honest, y'all. Type in 2 in the chat. If you ever told yourself in your business, you're saying, this is not working anymore. Or somebody in your life, that's happened to me. This is not working anymore, right? So there's two types of people that have that emotion, and this is what two types of people do. The first type actually falls into that feeling and emotion. They say, hey, this is not working anymore, and they actually quit. Just the other day, somebody sent me a text. They said they wanted to quit something, and okay, they actually quit. And I still could love people even when they're in this fall season where they want to fall off, because at the end of the day, my destiny is not connected to their decision on where they see themselves at in their business, right? The second type of person is the person like myself who feels that feeling of wanting to quit and wanting to give up, but they keep going. So I'm going to ask you a question. Are you the first type or the second type? Right? Are you the first type or the second type? What I mean by the first type of person is you feel like you tell yourself this isn't working anymore, and you actually say, okay, let me pack my bags, let me disconnect my social media, let me just stop and quit. Or are you the second type to say, yeah, I feel like this isn't working anymore, but I'm going to keep pushing through. I'm going to come up with a different strategy. I'm going to come up with a different plan. I'm going to go out and call my sister friend, be like, girl, just like the other day, I was texting with Sean. I said, girl, this is what's going on, right? Right. This is what's going on, right? So, hold on one second. I'm sorry, y'all. So I'm glad, LaShawn put she's the second type. And I love, and guys, listen, you're going to be around people. And I had to come to terms the other day when I got a text message from somebody. You're going to have people that are going to fall off. You're going to have clients that's going to fall off. You're going to have team members that's going to fall off. You're going to have business partners that's going to fall off. You're going to have business partnership that's going to fall off. It happens. Somebody type in the word, it happens. We can't cry over it. We can't get upset over it. There's so many times where we got to lead people to the promise before we say, let me just give it to God and move on. And I'm asking those of you who are watching me right now, you may be in a season, your fall season, where you feel like you want to give up, right? You may want to give up. You may want to say, this is not working anymore. And if that's the case, you need to register for our upcoming tour. Okay. You definitely need to go ahead and grab your ticket so you can join us at the tour, because leadership is definitely going to be one of the main topics that we're going to talk about and help you with during this tour. All right. So let's go into the winter season, right? This is where it's the crisis and despair, right? The winter season. This is the collapse, the winter season of, we're talking about leadership, y'all. The winter season of leadership. This is where you're talking about crisis and this despair. This is where the collapse happens. Something breaks, right? Internally, relationally, right? Professionally. In the past, 8 months, all these three things has happened to me. Crisis. There's things that's been broken, right? Internally, relationally, professionally for me, right? You're frozen. You're lost. You're detached, right? You're no longer pretending. This is a season where you like, listen, I was at church the other day and we have a lady at our church. She's so funny. Oh my gosh, she cracks me up. And somebody said something about her personality because, you know, in church you deal with all types of personalities, zodiac signs, all this stuff, right? And she says, y'all just going to have to take me as I am. She is also a leader, right? So we have to transfer that to business where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to pretend. You're no longer pretending. Like the mask is off, right? You're surviving, right? But underneath the pain, there's an opening. I want to say this. I feel like I'm getting a chill because somebody needs to hear this. It's during your winter season is where your real awakening is about to happen. You ever heard the term winter is coming? Right? We like to run for the winter. We want to run in the house. We want to turn on the heater. We want to get warm again. But sometimes we got to go through that winter season in our leadership, in our business, so God can give us that opening. Right? So now you're not pretending anymore. You're being who you are. You're being your authentic self. You're going through the loss, the detachment, the feeling like there's things breaking internally, internally, relationally, and professionally. And underneath all of that, there's a certain level of awareness. And those of you who are watching and you get what I'm talking about, where you get this new level of enlightenment or awareness where all these ideas, this transfer ideas are just happening. You're writing stuff down in your notebook, in your journal, on your computer. Just all these different ideas. You may feel like you may not going to execute on those ideas, but there's stuff that you definitely want to start to dive into within the next 3 to 10 months. If that's been you, go ahead and give me your number 4 in the chat. Right? Go ahead and get number 4 in the chat. And this is the season. This again, we're talking about the winter season of leadership. This is the season where you're telling yourself something has to change. Come on now. You're telling yourself this. You're saying, you know what? Something has to change. Something has to change. That's your winter season. That's your winter season, y'all. It's magnificent. I feel like it's magnificent, right? So now we're going to go into the spring. The spring season, y'all. The spring. Now, I just shared with y'all my favorite time of year. Now we're talking about business, y'all, but I'm talking about the physical seasons that go on. My favorite time of year is fall, but I also love the spring because it's not super hot and it's not super duper cold. So the spring season is where you have now your awareness, you have a higher level awareness. This is your discovery season in your leadership. And those of you who just logged on, we are talking about leadership as it pertains to business. Right? As it pertains to business, most of us tie leadership into ministry. Most of us tie leadership into community, like if you're a community leader, but we don't realize that leadership plays a humongous role in business. And there's 4 seasons of leadership. There's 5 seasons of leadership, right? Now we just talked about the fall. We already talked about the winter. Now we're talking about spring. Now hey, Rashidi. Hey, Deborah. Thank you. Hey, I see Rashidi, Deborah, Chanel. Go ahead and put some emojis in the chat, guys. Okay. So now we're talking about the spring season. Now, the spring season is where the thaw begins. This is where, you start to, those things that you done frozen up within you, they thawing out, right? You start to see more clearly, right? I always share like, yeah, I've been in this I've been in this frozen season for 22 years, and now I'm being thawed out, right? It's the real you starts to peek through the cracks. And a lot of times, especially in my experience, when the real you starts to open up, and you start to, release that to the world, those who are used to you being a certain kind of way are going to work against your transformation. Amen. They're going to work. The enemy is going to come at every single thing. He's going to throw every single thing at you, right? For it to come against your new transformation, your new level of awareness, and your new level of discovery. It also now brings me to, you gain awareness now. Because once you see things for what they truly are, once you see more clearly, no one can take that away from you. Once you know, and I was sharing this earlier this morning, once you know that people want what it is that you have to offer, they need what it is that you have to offer, and they want to hear about it, you never, that's never, that level of awareness never goes away, right? You unlearn the noise, you unlearn it. You say, you know what, this is just noise. It's not relevant to where you're going or relevant to your path, right? And you start planting seeds, not for your status, not for likes or comments. When you post, even if nobody likes it, even if nobody comments or shares, you say, you know what, I'm just planting seeds, because you're doing it for yourself, right? You're out there sharing great information, posting reels, going live. Even Rashidi, he's on here right now. I call him one of the top real estate agents in New Jersey, right? I'm with Connecticut, right? He's always planting seeds, posting reels, posts, events, and things like that. His level of awareness is at a high rate, to the point, even if nobody likes or comments, he's planting those seeds for himself. Because later on down the line, those who really want to learn more about what he's do, they always go back and check his track record. Is he consistent? Is he always posting relevant content? Is he always showing up? What has he done in his business in the past 3 to 6 months? It's all there. You can go on your social. Hey, Deborah, I got your message, love. Thank you. Right? It's a high level, right? This is where true leadership begins, right here in the spring season of your business, right? And you're probably telling yourself, I'm not who I thought I was. And that's a good thing. Come on, y'all. I want y'all to put in the chat right now. There's a whole bunch of y'all on here. I want y'all to put this in the chat right now. What did you thought you were before? Right? You told yourself, I'm not who I thought I was, and that's a good thing. I'm not who I thought I was, and that's a good thing. Share 3 things in the chat that you thought you were. I used to think that, I wasn't worthy, right? I used to think that I wasn't a contributor. You know what I'm saying? And I used to think that I wasn't somebody of value. That's what I used to thought about myself. But I don't feel that I am anymore. I used to think that way. Because that is who I thought, not who you were, who you thought you were. Right? And that is a good thing, that you don't think that way. I'm not who I thought I was. And it's a good thing. So go ahead and put in the chat, y'all. What are the 3 things that you thought you were? You wasn't smart. You wasn't credible, right? You wasn't worthy enough or qualified. We always say that I'm not qualified enough, or that you were poor or never going to make money in your business, right? So that is the spring season. Now we're going to tap into the summer season, y'all. Summertime, summertime, right? So the summer season is the transition season. This is the season I can say that I'm in this season right now in my leadership role in my business. I'm definitely in the summer season of my life, which is the transition and the implementation, right? This is your growth season, right? It's also, with growth, this is your uncomfortable season, because through growth, you're going to get uncomfortable. You're going to get a lot of no's, right? You're going to get a lot of rejection. You're going to do some things that's going to help elevate you that you haven't done. Amen. Right? But it's necessary. Right? You water what matters. You water. I was listening to a Joyce Meyer sermon today. One of the things she said is worrying does nothing for you. Type in one in the chat if you know that. Go ahead and put one in the chat. Worrying does nothing for you. Y'all know that, right? So if you're worried about something right now, it ain't going to get better because you're still worrying about it. Right? If you're worrying about making money today in your business, you're not going to make money today in your business because you're still worried about it. Come on, y'all. We in the transition phase. Worrying does nothing for you. Right? This is the season where what you water and what you focus on is what matters. It's almost like watering a plant. If you're going to water a plant, because we have a garden outside, in our backyard, when we're watering the plants, right, we're focusing on that plant growing. And when we water it, it grows. Right? So you got to only water the things that matter. We're not going to water the concrete because nothing grows in the concrete. We're going to water the soil. You're also going to test your new habits. Right? You lead with intention, not an image. You lead. I'm going to say that again for those of you in the back. You're going to lead and you're going to show up and you're going to be present with intention, not trying to fit into an image. Right? This is where the summer season in your leadership is where things are going to begin to bloom. Right? But only because you stayed the course. So this is the season where if you feel like you're in this season in your leadership of your business, you're probably telling yourself, well, I'm living what I believe now. Belief is important, y'all. And when you live in accordance to what you believe, not what the world believes, not what everybody else believes, what you believe. That's where you're going to feel like, hey, I'm in my transition season. I'm in my implementation season. I am feeling amazing. No matter how you look, no matter what's in your bank account, no matter what status you are at, no matter what, you're going to feel like, hey, I'm living what I believe. Okay. So yeah, we all love this season, y'all. This is what this next season we all love, which is the harvest season. This is where the overflow, you feel like, I want the overflow, right? But you're probably going to have to go through all those seasons of leadership before you get to the harvest, right? The harvest is where results and success happens, right? This is the fruit. If you're in the harvest season of your leadership, right? This is where your fruit comes, right? But it's not just about external success. It's about alignment. Some people in your life, you're going to have to pivot away from because they're not in line with what you believe. So if you believe that you deserve more, if you believe that you deserve to be treated better, if you believe that, your business needs to be at a certain level, right? Or you need to be doing a certain level of action, you're not going to even be aligned with anything, whether it's a person, whether it's a lifestyle, whether it's a routine that you do every day. You're going to say, you know what? This is not aligned with that. In your harvest season, you're more clear, right? You're more confident. You're no longer performing. You're present. This is what people say. This is when people say you're different. If that has ever happened to you, go ahead and type one in the chat. This is when people say, hey, you're different. No, you're just being who you are. They have to catch on. But you're just finally yourself. Whew, this is good. This is good. If you haven't shared this out yet, make sure that you do. So in the harvest season, you're probably asking yourself, I didn't just lead, I became one. All right, y'all, let's get into the final flow. Okay. So there's 5 different seasons I just went over today. Number 1 was your fall season. I want y'all to put in the chat either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, even if you're watching this on the replay. Even if you're watching this on a replay, put number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Don't put 1 and 4. No, choose one of these. Okay. Are you in the fall season? Go ahead and type 1. This is a season where things are falling off, right? Or unraveling, right? Type in 2 if you are in the winter season of your life. And this is where crisis and despair. Type 3 if you're in the spring season. Not your life, I'm talking about your business. We're talking about business, y'all. Business. We're making this about business. Type in 3 if you're in the spring season of your leadership, where you're having more awareness and discovery. Type number 4 if you're in the summer season of your leadership, where's your transition and implementation. Or type in 5, right? Type in 5 if you're in the harvest season, and this is where you're seeing results and success. And no answer is wrong. No answer is incorrect. Okay. I want y'all to go ahead and type that in and let us know which of these 5 seasons that you're currently in right now in your leadership, in your business. Because in your business, like I said earlier, you got to see yourself as a leader. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Right? We're talking about the 5 seasons of leadership. In business, you have to see yourself as a leader. You have to see yourself as a leader. Okay? A lot of us tie leadership with ministry or community leadership, but in business, you are all leaders. Somebody type in I am a leader in the chat. Okay? All right, y'all. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for today. This was an amazing conversation. If you got any value out of this, go ahead and type me in the chat right now, even if you're watching this on a replay. And more importantly, go share this out, because it's great when you are connected to, especially if you're directly connected to other women and men that also need help in developing their own personal leadership in business. Because of a lot of you who have clients, who have customers, who have business partners or team members, you can't really get to them or get through to them if they don't see themselves as a leader. If they don't see themselves in business as a leader. You can't teach confidence. You can't teach resilience. You can't teach self-esteem. That's something that internally we have to develop in ourselves. But you can convey leadership to your clients, your customers, your business partners, your team members, all the things. Because when you help develop them into leaders, like I always focus on developing my kids into leaders. I told my kids, be whatever you want to dream or desire in your life. Okay. Some parents want to say, hey, you got to become a doctor. You got to become a lawyer. You got to become this. They tell them what they have to do instead of really asking the kids, well, what do you want to do? Right? What is it that you want to do? Because it's important that they live a life of doing things that they're themselves, that God has given to them, they're passionate about doing. And it may not be what exactly that they want to do. So I always focus on, because you guys know I have 5 children. I always focus on teaching my kids to be leaders, because no matter what room they walk in feeling and walking and operating as a leader. But more importantly, we all as adults have to walk in rooms online and offline, seeing ourselves as leaders, because it's almost like people magnetically become attracted to what you're doing and want to opt into what you're doing. Because when they see a leader in you, right, they trust in you more, they believe in you more, and they want to sign up for whatever it is that you want to sign up for, right? They may not know yet about what you're doing, but the fact that you're walking in as a leader and they see that in you, you become more believable, you become more trusting. And that's so important. So listen, guys, during our tour, we're going to definitely be diving into leadership. If you haven't grabbed your ticket yet, the link is right there on the screen. Go ahead and grab your ticket. It's going to be an amazing event. And I hope to see each and every one of you there. All right, y'all. So remind yourself what season of leadership that you are in your business. And let's go ahead and help you elevate in that. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.